good afternoon, good evening. It's Skip from BK. We back at it again, season 2. Dreams Money Can Buy. We have a lyricist. We have, he is hip hop. He is a figure in his community. He cares about, the black woman, cares about his community, his family. He's a real man thing, you know what I'm saying? He's a leader, you know what I'm saying? This guy's Creative Gold. Guys, clap it up for Creative Gold. We got him in the building today.
What's up? I like that intro.
Trying to keep it, short and simple to the point, he's wearing his hoodie, I'm wearing his hoodie. So it's about, solidarity. This is a quality brand. So you got to support not only black business, but solid black business. So we're not going to just support it because we black, but we got to support it when it's good. So just got to say that real quick in the beginning.
Quality.
How you feeling today, bro?
I'm here.
We charged up. This is the first episode we've ever had bottles on the table. So this is
really? Okay.
This is that episode right now. So if there's any episode to set the tone where it's like, CG was like, I'm gonna set the tone right now.
Nah, that's a fact.
I want to go back because when it comes to these deep dive interviews, before it was Creative Gold. Who is BKRS Creative, bro?
BKRS. Well, before it was Creative Gold, it was just Creative.
That was it?
Yeah, it was just created by itself. So the BKRS, I was in high school. I was in this little rap group. It was called Brooklyn Renaissance. So the BKRS is Renaissance or whatever like that.
So it's kind of like some ASAP Mobby type thing?
Not really like an ASAP Mob type thing. It was more so, I don't know, like what you would compare it to, like as far as like another like hip hop collective or whatever like that. But it was like a little group that we had in high school. It started from like the hip hop club.
Okay.
Excuse me, and then we all started like rapping and like singing and stuff together. So he was like, yo, we should like really be a group. So everybody was with it, 14, 15, 16. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make a group. So Brooklyn Renaissance was a group. And then like probably like for the rest of high school, we was just like performing at like the talent shows. We did a couple local shows and stuff like that. We used to record in like my man's crib. He like punched a hole in the wall and like put a mic in it.
That's wild.
That's not even like like I'm not even exaggerating. Like it was really like a hole punched in the wall and he just sat the mic in it. This is like when MySpace was still hot. So like we was like recording and then we put it right on MySpace.
That's crazy.
Everybody from school was listening to it like, that shit is hot.
So this is when you're like 15, 16, right? Mm-hmm. So just before we start getting into like your music, because there's something about like the type of selections when it comes to the production, like especially the people that you work with. Mm-hmm. Did you always know that you wanted to like make music, make rhymes, and like put it on wax type thing?
No, not always. Truthfully, I wanted to play ball.
Okay,
I wanted to play ball.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to be Kobe. That's what I was trying to be, Kobe. But then like I always loved music. Like ever since like growing up, like. At first, I listened to like not weird shit, but I guess it would be weird like for a black boy from the hood. So I'm listening to like Britney Spears and NSYNC and shit like that. I'm like, yo, this shit is hot. Like, bye, bye, bye. You know what I'm saying? So that was me. I was that dude, especially like going to like Guatemala. Cause like they got MTV or whatever like that, right? But this is back when like MTV was like super diverse. Like they're playing music videos damn near all day, like with a mix of like a couple like TV shows here and there, but like so they're playing like a whole bunch of pop, like all these videos like all day long, like the Eminem and shit like that. They had a mix of like hip hop in there, but mostly it was just like poppy, like whatever was the most popular song out at the moment. So that's what I was listening to a lot of.
So with that, I feel like it's interesting because me growing up, I was the same. I was just listening to just music, like popular music. Do you feel like that, like from the jump, made you expand? Like you were just listening to music, not even I'm just listening to hip hop. I just want to listen to good music, right?
Yeah, if it's good, I'm gonna listen to it. It doesn't matter who made it.
Okay, because there's a quote that you wrote like in your early days, and this is pretty, profound at the young age. Is like to leave a permanent stamp on the game, a stamp of good music that will be played for years to come and never be forgotten. No matter what emotion you feel, I want all of the hip hop rap listeners to be able to relate and know that they're not alone in whatever they go through in life. So I don't know what age you said that.
Damn.
But that like as you're a man right now, just like when you were hungry, but at that time, that level of hunger, like, yo, you want people to make sure they know who you are. And I feel like that shows in not only just your lyricism, but how you tell stories in your music. And I feel like that comes to the next thing of the creative lifestyle series. Like, what was that about? Because you know what's interesting before you go? The word creative in all of your pieces is like, it's evident in like how you show up in the world. Like you show up in not just musically, but just in other ways of life messaging and stuff like that. So what is the Creative Lifestyle series about? That
started from, all right, so I don't know, like, if you remember, like, Wiz Khalifa, like, his early, like, years, like I want to say, like, 2009. Well, from, like, 2008, 9, 10, like that. He started, like, the Day-to-Day series. So, like, if you really sit back and look at it, all the stuff that everybody is doing now when it comes to, like, documenting, like, vlogs and, like, daily, Wiz Khalifa started all of that.
Okay.
Wiz Khalifa was the first person doing that. At least, like, he was the first person doing it to the extent where it was like, yo, you really wanted to see what Wiz Khalifa was doing every day. So, like, I'm like, yo, like, I really care about what this guy is doing, like, every day. And it's, like, it's making me more of a fan. It made me care more about the music. And, like, I'm definitely going to hit, like, download or, like, go looking for whatever he's doing. So I'm like, yo, I should do something like that. Like, I live pretty cool, like, from day to day. So I'm like, people probably care what I'm doing from time to time. So I was just like, all right, whenever I had a camera, yo, record it. Even if we just go into Soho, we just walking around for a day, talking shit and cracking jokes or whatever like that. Yo, let's record that, put it up there. It gets 1 view, it gets 100 views, doesn't matter. Like, somebody's gonna watch it, right? So that's what that really was about.
Okay, because I'll be thinking about the visuals that you have in your music videos. Mm-hmm. So you said Wiz Khalifa did 2009. So you're doing this around the same time, and you looked at it and it's like,
probably like a little bit after him. Like, so I want to say
probably like a year or two after.
Yeah, maybe like I started like maybe like 2011.
Okay, 2011. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So with that being said, when it comes to just that visual component of like kind of like journaling or archiving your life, you're getting to like, all right, this is storytelling in addition to just, yo, I fucking kill beats and I just do this. Like, yo, I'm just showing you that this is an experience. And I feel like when it comes to you, you being a Leo is like, is some type of swag, some type of kind of like royalty type of swag to it's like, yo, this is what me and my people do. Is either you get with it or you just get kind of like lost with it. And I feel like that's why it's evident from like the jump. Like I can see it from like when I was listening to music and studying. It's like, I really like that component to your imagery. So I was like looking when I was scrolling through your Facebook, I'm going all the way back. That's how you know. It's like I'm looking and going all the way back to like 2009. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. That makes sense. So when did you actually start like break away from the Brooklyn Renaissance, like kind of like own creative gold? Because before you were just creative.
Right after high school. After high school.
When did you add the gold aspect to your name?
So it's funny. So it's a series like called Reggae Gold.
Okay.
So one of my mans, he like super Jamaican. So he always used to like joke like, yo, one day you gonna stop rapping, you're gonna be a reggae artist, right? He said your name gonna be Creative Gold. So I'm just like, damn, that shit kind of hard, then, right? Fire. So I'm just like, so one day I just tried it out. I forgot. I don't even remember what's the first song I put out with like just Creative Gold on it, but it might have been because when I put my first mixtape out, it was just Creative. Like I put out Creative Thoughts Volume 1, it was just Creative. It wasn't no Creative Gold under it. So it might have been I had put out like this mini like EP kind of thing called like Category 6, like. A lot of people probably never even heard it before. But I put that out. And then I think that was the first time I like put like Creative Gold under it. And I was just like, damn, like I like the way that shit sound. Like, and like I would like type it in Google and stuff like. Because if you type in creative in Google, it's like
it's so much things popping. So much thing,
but like you type in Creative Gold, it's like it's funny because like a jewelry website or some shit like that that's up.
Oh yeah.
And like I've been fighting with them for like years, like not like in terms of like, oh, give me the name, but I'm like, I want to be more popular than you. So I've been fighting with like, so it's like every time like I do something, I'm just like, all right, this is when I'm going to be first. I'm going to be first. And it's funny because I think I was first like for a little while, probably like I was first maybe like 2017 or 2018. Like I typed in my name. Yeah. And I was finally first. I was like, yeah, fuck these niggas. So that was cool.
Okay. Because when I was like researching your music from the projects that are out on not only just streaming services, but on your SoundCloud, the earliest thing I saw was #Dirty Jordans, right? Mm-hmm. And I think what's pretty cool with you and a lot of the people that you kind of like look up to or, people that you study. And it's like titles for you mean something. I think for artists is the reason why you name it that. And I feel like as someone that's, wavy, love sneaker culture and stuff like that. Like that being one of your first songs that is like really still there on streaming service because you can probably just take off anything else, but you leave that as a staple. That's a great introduction to you. Yeah. How do you feel when you made that song? That was like back in 2013, like that type of version of CG. Like what was going through your mind when you made that?
Oh, when I made that project, it was just like, yo, like my goal is still like, all right, like I wanna make music. I wanna be like, good music, cool, the money comes out of that. But I wanna be in that convo as the best. The best person, hands down, in terms of like when people still talk about it, is Michael Jordan. So it's like, even in anything, like it doesn't matter. Like Michael Jordan just comes up in any conversation. He doesn't play hockey. People compare Michael Jordan to hockey players and shit like that. So it's just like, well, when you talk about rap, like, yo, I want to be like Mike, MJ, da da da. So I'm just like, all right, that's what this is gonna be about. And then like the name Dirty Jordans was just about like the grind, because it was like we was like what 18, 19. Wasn't getting crazy money. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't out here like with the latest shoes all the time. So it's like, yo, I'm gonna be wearing these Jordans every day. They dirty, grimy, and stuff like that. I'm gonna make it a thing. Like I'm gonna make sure people know that Dirty Jordans is my thing. So not only it's not like I can't afford this shit, because I can't afford to buy like new sneakers every day.
Yeah, at the time.
But now I can afford it, and now it's like, yo, that's his shit. Like when I see him, I think about Dirty Jordans. And then other kids gonna be looking at it like, yo, it's cool to have like dirty kicks and shit. Like, yo, Dirty Jordans. Right,
okay,
yeah,
so that's like around the time with the worn look, because a lot of times people
like
want to keep it
like when we was on Tumblr and shit like that. Yeah.
So people trying to have like that, in addition to like that pristine, like, yo, you have the kicks, and you're trying to keep it as like clean as possible.
Yeah.
But there's also that cool kind of like vintage look when you have like some worn Chuck Taylors or some worn like ones or something like that. No matter what, if you can kind of like have it aged correctly, I get it. Circa 93, that's when it's kind of represented when you were born, right? Cause
93.
So it's like, it really is like a story to me, like when you're kind of like picking these songs, I was like, yo, because when you rap, to me, it feels like, and I hate when people be like, yo, this feels like the 90s, but I feel like the way that your music kind of like vibes, I feel like it's going to vibe at any time. So it's not just say you should play this in the 90s and you get it, but I feel like, as people that are from that era of the 90s, you know how to emulate that well to the present, where we can still bump it in any environment. And it's like, yo, I rock with this, like how people be like, yo, he's really spitting.
Like kids it's funny because kids like that shit. They try to like, and it's always like, even like from us, like we're like late 20s, like early 30s or whatever like that. There's always like that disconnect with the people in like their 40s, 50s and stuff like that. Oh, y'all young niggas don't know nothing. No. It's not that we don't know nothing. You're not teaching us nothing. Like, a lot of these kids, like, I work with kids now, too, that, like, 18, 19, 20. I throw some, like, music on for them. Some shit that I know they never heard of, like, En Vogue or some shit like that. They don't know who it is, but, like, their head is bobbing. They're like, yo, this shit is out here. Like, I fuck with this shit. You got to show people, like, yo, this shit was hot. Not like, oh, this shit is hot and nothing y'all putting out is hot either. That's where it, like, kind of gets fucked up and, like, people become a little bit more standoffish, like, fuck y'all old niggas music. I don't want to hear that shit either.
And I feel like it's interesting because when we're like young, entering like a league, because we talk sports, like we have to feel like we have to kick down the door, so to like make people respect us. And I feel like that's something that you do with like your singles as it kind of like leads up to 2017 with your, I think your first, no, it's not 2000, it's 2015. Or is that a single? Like, What's Up? Is that a project or is that a single?
That was a single. Yeah.
Okay, so
it was on a project. It was on MVP Race.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So an MVP Race, I think, came out in 2015, 2016.
Yeah,
okay.
15,
cool. But that's not on streaming services.
Oh, it's on Audio Mac.
That's why.
Yeah,
so
it's on Audio Mac.
I should have checked that one because
that's the only one. I don't know. I'm trying to think why I didn't put that one on streamers. You know what it is? It's like, it wasn't a bad project, but at the same time, it still wasn't like something I wanted to just like push to the front. That was like more so like, if you know me and all right, cool. Because like, it wasn't all over the place, but it wasn't as structured as I may have wanted it to be.
Not like your more recent project.
Yeah, like, and then that's just me though. Like when I'm going back and I'm listening to like stuff over and over again, like even like my best, like the stuff that people were saying, like my best work, I'm still listening to it today, like, damn, I could have put this here, or I could have did this there, or like maybe I could have took that verse off, I could have made that hook fade a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always like trying to make it better. That's why like sometimes it's like I'm not rushing to put it out, but it's like when I do it, I gotta put it out because like even the project I'm working on now, there's songs I recorded already, I don't even want to put on the project anymore. So it's just like I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, and I definitely want to get into Welcome to the Players Ball. Like in a bit because that's 2020. I want to kind of like show
take your time.
show the escalation because what I liked about What's Up and like John F. Hennessy, it really is.
That's still one of my favorites, John F. Hennessy.
I'm not really surprised.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorites.
I'm not surprised just because of the album art and just how much fun it looked like you had. Like,
that's why I made sure I put that on. Like when I was uploading all my old stuff on the streaming services, I was like, nah, this one has to go.
Yeah, I just feel like that's like a testament of who you were at that time. Where it's like even when I have in my notes,
that's still
like,
me. Yeah, that's still me.
I call creative like Henny God flow. Like I literally had that as a note. Like you were talking about Henny all the time, about Henny. So, how you do singles is like. I don't want to say it's kind of like Drake like, but like how people are in album mode and it's like, yo, just to make sure it holds y'all over while I'm like making these kind of like timeless pieces is like, here's something I'm playing around with. Yeah. Here's some like Hotel Money, like Remy, like there's a lot of songs that I was listening to, like getting ready to like the 3 projects that I know. Well, I know Too Broke to Cry and When the Liquor Pours because that's when I was like, I got to meet you and I got to like be in the studio for one of them. I believe it's Too Broke to Cry, and then When the Liquor Pours. You was there
for the you was there for the listening for Too Broke to Cry.
That's when I saw you and YD Beats and everyone was just having a conversation, just kind of vibing out to it, and I got to like really sit and see that, and I was like, yo, that's but dope. Because then when I went back to listen to am I saying it right? Biscayne
Bay.
Yeah, Biscayne Bay. And just listening to that, like even Ooze Mommy is from like a temple dance group or something like that, right?
Yeah, Azuri.
Yeah, Azuri. Yeah. And it's just like those 3 projects to me, I'm not gonna I don't like saying best, but it's just like the replay value.
They are. They are.
I don't really want to cap you. Does that make sense?
No, I mean it's the best.
So okay.
It's the best so far.
So that's what
best so far.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. So I'm not trying to say they were not the best, like they're not good. I just don't like to cap people because when you say that, I don't want to like box you. So
you got to set that, like they do that to Drake a lot, and that's why I don't see no problem with that. You got to set the bar. Like I feel like I should be, like even though I'm not like mainstream top tier right now, but I should be competing with myself. So it's like,
okay,
but if I'm putting something out now, the next thing I put out shouldn't be worse than Too Broke to Cry. Like it should only be keep going forward. So it's like that's the bar. If everybody's gonna set the bar, that yo, that last shit you put out, fire. All right, now the next shit I got put out is better than that. Like I want to like they're not gonna compare it to like 2 Chainz album. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna keep comparing me. If you're gonna keep comparing me to me, that's fine. Okay, I'm with that all the way.
All right, I respect it. So I just wanted to be mindful of your creative process. But to me, like when I'm like, because we're both Drake fans, I can tell you like distinctly what are my favorite Drake albums. I couldn't even say that I prefer one of the 3 over the others because to me they come in as different lanes.
Wait, but what's your favorite Drake album?
For me, it's Nothing Was the Same.
That's your favorite? Okay.
Because for me, my top 3 is Nothing Was the Same, Take Care, and if you're reading this now, it's too late.
Oh, okay. Mine is all right. So it's all right. If it's all right, so my best and my favorite is different. So. The best Drake albums for me would be Views. No, I'm lying. My favorite Drake album is gonna be Views, Nothing Was the Same, and then Take Care and So Far Gone kind of like switch depending on like how I'm feeling.
Okay, so I respect where you put So Far Gone, but I think to me, it's not to just discount it. Yeah. I just think because of like. Since that was like all of our introductions to Drake, I put that on like, you know how we don't even rank Jay-Z as like the greatest rapper anymore? He's kind of like God tier. Like, you know, like if this is basketball, we put Jordan with God tier. And then it's like, well, these are the other nice people.
That's what you put So Far Gone?
I put So Far Gone there because it's not fair to compare to everyone else. Because to me, that's his best one to like last song project of sequencing and like the story it tells with it.
I put it in there for like nostalgic reasons.
Yeah. So I just feel like...
I like the way it made me... feel like
because when we go back to it when it got added to streaming services again, it's it makes me go back to that place, and I think this is what is good that we understand it with Drake, and I think this is good when it comes to you. Not to say that you're a Drake rapper, you're a creative gold rapper.
I mean that's a compliment, even if you did say that.
Like when I listen to your music, I can understand because I know what you're going through in Too Broke to Cry and When the Liquor Pours. I understand that, so when I listen to it, and especially getting ready for this interview, I go back to that point, and I think that is what make projects. I don't want to like put too much pressure by saying it's a classic, but for like your discography, I feel like those are the classic pieces where I can just go back to that first feeling I had when I was listening to it. And it's like, those to me are like the great pieces. Because a lot of times when you listen to an album and then you pick it up again a year or 2 from now, you can grow with the album. You can grow with the album where it's like it gets better, or you can grow with the album where like, yo, it doesn't really slap the same. And I feel like for you, it just continues to like build up as it means like to me I can always throw it on and like I'm just vibing out and I'm like playing video games, so I'm reading something, I'm like getting ready for this. I was like, nah, this is dope, bro. And I feel like that's what I love about this interview series that I do with this is like to give you the flowers, but also how did you get these three done? Because to me these are like 1, 2, 3. These are like Drake, Future, and Young Thug on G4L. Like those three projects to me, like when I'm listening to it, I was mad calm, bro. Like I can understand when you talking about love, when you talking about the streets, when you talking about like you're just a man is like, yo, I fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. Yo, you're fucking bozo. Like I'm trying to like prove to you, like, yo, you should understand that I'm the man type stuff. And it's like we don't rap to our women no more, like in that like loving way. And I feel like that's something that we need, and you're really providing. So like, how did you do like this? What I would call like the three-peat for you right now.
So, all right. So Biscayne Bay. All right. Here's a funny thing, right? So MVP race was supposed to be kind of like Biscayne Bay. But like in the process of making that, like when you listen, all right, so when you listen to MVP race, it sounds angry as fuck.
It's just like hostile.
Yeah, it's mad because there's a song on there called Derek Jeter too. So I went to Miami or whatever. I was dating this girl or whatever at the time. She was living in Miami, so I went out there. Trip was horrible. I already knew the trip was gonna be horrible because I missed my flight on my way there, so I already knew that trip was gonna be terrible.
Okay.
Got there, it was horrible. So now I'm on the plane on my way back and stuff like that. Headphones in. I had a couple beats that my man's Woodrow Skillson, shout out to Woodrow. He sent me a couple beats. So Derek Jeter was one of them. So I'm listening to him on the plane. I'm like, yo, yeah. So like every day now I was just mad beats, mad. So I'm just like angry. It's like, fuck you, I'm the man, all this other shit. Like, I'm that nigga, you forgot. Like all of those type of songs. So then after I got all the mad out, so me and YD sat down and he was sending me beats. And like me and YD's relationship is funny because YD is sending me beats like all the time. So on certain projects, there's beats that he sent me that he probably sent me like 4, 5, 6 years ago. But you'll never know. Because like the way I tie it in and like the way he makes the beat, it could come out at any time.
Like
the not to fast forward, but the Welcome to the Players Club, he sent me that beat like 6 years ago, I think, like 5 or 6 years ago.
So 2014, 2015, that's in your inbox.
Yeah, that's in my inbox.
That's crazy.
And like sometimes like
I would have never thought that.
Sometimes I'll just be sitting back and I'll just like, I'll go back and I'm like, I didn't want to use the beat at the time. I'm like, yeah, it's not doing it for me right now. But I'll go back and I'm listening, so I'm like, all right, yeah, this shit still hits. Like, boom. And then that Welcome to the Players Club was one of those beats. I went back, I'm like, this shit still slaps.
Because it's an intentional beat. Like when you listen to it, it's like, dun, dun, dun. And then when you kind of like put your like verses on it, it's like when you kind of like knock into it, it's like a very calm, steady like pacing to it. So
and like flows come to you when they supposed to come to you. So it was like that was one of those. But like so going back to Biscayne Bay, so now we sitting back and I think what was the first song?
It says Hello.
Well, I think Hello was crazy. Hello was the last song we recorded.
Interesting.
But
okay.
I think the first song I recorded for that, it had to be Arguing with Wifey. Yeah. And what's crazy? That was like one of the first like viral songs that I had where it was just like people I didn't know were really talking about it like on some like on Twitter, like, yo, Arguing with Wifey, Creative Gold, the song is fire. And I really think it was the genuine sample that drew people in. But even like, like the lyrics were like super relatable. Like everybody was like, yo, like I get it. And it's like, for the most part, when I'm rapping about something, it's like, sometimes I spare details just like to,
be respectful.
Respectful of people, depending on the situation. And now when it was like, everything I'm saying is like, what's really happening. Like
you're not holding back.
Not like holding back anything.
Throwing full punches, bro.
So it's like when you're listening to my music, it's like you're really getting like a situation. So it's like, all right, so like people listening like, yo, damn. And it's crazy because the people that know me are like, oh. And then like the people that don't know me are like, yo, I get it. Like I go through that same exact shit. But like the purpose of the album, like the story, timeline wise, like from Hello was like, all right, when I first meet her, nice to see you, let's kick it, whatever like that. Then it's like you're getting courted. and like certain songs, and like you're moving on. It's like, all right, like we together now. Like, oh, it's love. Like I'm feeling you. Things are getting a little bit rocky. But the thing I like about the album, and it's not just that album, you're gonna see like going on into like the next one too. It's not just about you. So it's not just about one girl. It's like, I look at it maybe as like a series, like a television series, where it's like there's the main character, but then there's all these side stories too.
Oh yeah, there's things going on in the background.
So it's like there's the main girl, but then there's like this girl that I dealt with back there. There's this girl that may have came back around, like she may have shot me a text in the middle while I'm dealing with you, or like we just broke up and now she's coming back around. So it's all of this going on at once. But I tried to like tie it together in like the college kids experience.
Okay.
So that's why you hear like a lot of references to like Temple, Florida State, stuff like that. So it's like sororities. It's like, oh, okay. Like, so like if you're a kid in college, because there's a lot of like shit I'm going through. I'm not in college, but I'm around college people all the time.
Yeah,
like I'm
because you have some friends that went to those schools.
So it's like, all right, so this is and that's what it makes it even more relatable. It's like, yo, it's a nigga that didn't even go to college, going through college kid shit. And then you get to the end of it, and like it's like, all right. Once you get to the end of the project, it's like, all right, you gonna be all right. You gonna move on, of course. You know what I'm saying?
That's part of life, and I feel like just because I know some of the people that you well, not Florida State from Temple, but like it's like definitely like when I heard that, it's like, oh, isn't that like a dance thing or something like?
Yeah.
Like, so you probably knew some of the people.
Shout out to Danny, one of my like greatest friends like in the world. Yeah, she was part of like the dance group and stuff like that.
Right.
Like that's her. Like that's her on the intro of the song, like wishing me a happy birthday.
Oh,
like, and it's like I get a lot of shit like that from Drake too, like little pieces like that, and like just little like mementos. So it's like she couldn't reach me like on my birthday, so she left that voicemail. So I'm in the studio, I have the voicemail. I'm like, yo, throw that voicemail. Even on the song "Come Over," that's a real conversation. That's not a skit. Like the girl,
I thought that was a skit.
No, this girl called me, and like this is back when I used to be in the studio with like 10, 15 niggas at a time. Like, but like I'm just in there and I'm like, I'm in my zone. They still doing what they doing, but I'm getting what I need to get done. So I'm in the booth, and she calls me. So I'm like, yo, Andrew, keep this shit running, right? So I really didn't know who it was at the time.
Yeah, you said something like my phone reset. I was like, my phone's not saving your number or something like that.
And funny, there's a longer version to that conversation, but like he cut it short. But that's a real conversation that's going on. So it's like little things like that. It just makes like ties it all together. And like even that person, that's somebody that like we never had like an intense relationship, but like that's somebody special. So
it created like a kind of a vibe at that point in your life. And I feel like I see the connection when it's like, because I hate how, women try to like box us into these 12 boxes for like zodiac signs or whatever, astrology, but it kind of makes sense, right? Because, I'm a Cancer, you're a Leo, so we're kind of like cousins because you're like right next to me.
Literally.
Right?
Yeah,
so it's like you're right next. So I get it when it comes to being like passionate about things. And I can see like those little kind of like chess moves like, that was brilliant. Like saying like when I'm listening to this, like how your usage of like those things were, again, that's what I'm saying. When you listen to something, I'll be like, yeah, I get that. I get when someone's like, damn, I don't remember who this person is, or like my phone did reset and I don't have your number saved, or whatever thing I had to say is like, I'm being real honest with you. Cause you can tell like you weren't bullshitting. And if you were, you were on point. But it's just like, I was like, yo, I honestly don't. But it's like, yo, you have my number. That means you obviously important because I don't just give my number away. So what's going on? So I think with that, because I listened to that the least, because I kind of came on to it again because of like listening to this interview for like, I think I was preparing for this a year or two ago because I told you a long time ago I was gonna do it, and I was listening to it. I was like, yo, this is fire, bro. And I love when you kind of like revisit older pieces, and I'm just like, I get this, bro. But we got to talk about Too Broke to Cry, right?
Too Broke, that's the one right there. That's the one right there.
I'm a little biased. I don't want to say the one. I feel like that's the one it's part of the three-peat. This is I think this is number 2 in the three-peat, right?
Yeah.
And
that's my baby right there. Yeah, that's really like my baby right there. Like,
now you guys,
that's my baby.
You guys really did it, because this was like a lot of the production was just you and YD. It was just back and forth, and I feel like when I think about that relationship that you have with YD, it is Drake 40 like, right? Where I feel like, and it's not to say your other songs are not great when you work with other producers. You do have other producer relationships I do want us to talk about. But there's just something magical when you and YD work together.
Yeah.
And I think it really shows in this project where, again, I don't have a favorite project of yours, but these last three to me is like, I'd have all your music in order from like the most earliest thing that's in Apple Music. But when I get to like the last three, I'll be like in the clouds, man. Like I don't even smoke weed, but like I'm just wavy, bro. Like this is at peace. And I feel like when I looked at that, you told a story, bro. And I feel like you really put it all right there. And I just feel like at the end of the day, it was like, yo, bro, this was fucking fire.
Nah, that's like, it's crazy because it's like clearly nothing good ever happens in Miami, right?
No.
Nothing good ever happens.
This is like another story of Miami. Just like, nah.
Another story of Miami. So it's like, it's the same thing. But the only difference was that like I was working on Too Broke to Cry before anything with Miami happened. But it wasn't called Too Broke to Cry. Like it didn't even
register yet.
They even have a name. It was like, because sometimes there's this name floating around for like projects. Like I'll catch a name and I'm just like, oh no, that shit sounds fire. Like let me write that in my notes or whatever like that. Like I might use that again. But Too Broke to Cry wasn't even like, it wasn't registered. So Miami comes again, right? So Miami comes. I go out there in Miami. I was meeting a girl out there. Like we was already like dating or whatever like that. And then she went on a trip and then she came and met me. So I'm going out there, whatever like that. So cool. Things it wasn't the worst trip, but
it wasn't
the best either. So came back and it was a whole bunch of bullshit, whatever like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we gonna put in the music. That's what we gonna do. And it's funny too, like you'll see it. Like all right, once I finish the story, then you'll be like, oh shit, all right. So I'm putting everything together, right? But this time it's like Biscayne Bay on like steroids.
Yeah.
So Biscayne Bay had its story, but Too Broke to Cry has its story. But if you listen closely, it's a continuation of Biscayne Bay. So it's like even from the intro, it's like, oh, summer's over. I'm going back to school now. Like everybody's going back. You know what I'm saying? Semester is about to restart or whatever like that. Cool. So now you hear like me and Shorty linking or whatever. So it's literally the same format, but just maybe like a little bit more intense with like every girl that the song is about know that the song is about them. Like, so every girl that I put on that project, like, you know who you are.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit, like he's talking about me. Like, oh, I remember that. Even down to like back again, my friends, they're like, oh shit, like that's what happened? That's not what I heard happen. Because there's like, once me and that girl stopped dealing with each other, there was so many different things floating around. So even like you were there at the listening party. When you at the listening party, everybody's there, you know, supportive and stuff like that, da-da-da. But then it comes a part like when certain songs come on, they're like, oh, nah, that's not what I heard. That's what happened? What? Oh, and then like I put it in such good detail. Like it's like, I'm not storytelling. I'm storytelling, but I'm not.
You said I'm not chatting. I'm like, yeah, I'm journaling like this right now.
I'm not fabricating this shit. Like, yeah, you're hearing every single thing that's going on. And like, even with that project, every song was recorded that you heard at the listening party, but the last two songs, like the bonus songs, I did after the listening party.
Yeah.
And then like, even down to like the last song, like When She Called Me. That song is literally about when she called me. Like, the whole project is done, and like she spoke to me, and we had a conversation. We spoke for like literally like maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was just like it was real honest. It was cool, you know. Shout out to her. You know, I don't hold any like ill will towards her. Like anymore.
You guys have to get those things off your chest.
Definitely. I mean, at first it was like I was heated. Yeah, I was heated. I was just like, and it was more of a like, I'm mad. You trying to blame me for shit, and it's just like there was nothing really for you to blame me for. Like, yeah, shit wasn't perfect, but it was like, you know, accountability. That's really all it was about. And then once you get that out the way, it's like
after that, just
yeah, you can be cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's like even in my music, I try to keep it to that kind of like openness where it's like, I'm not gonna be the like, bitch, I hate you guy in the music. I'm gonna be the like, no, like, I cared about you. Shit went sour. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm mad, whatever emotion I'm feeling. But I'm always down to reconcile. Like, even if it's not gonna be like, we talk every day, we cool like we was, but like, I'm always down for like some sort of reconciliation. At least for like just the air to be cleared and like for it to settle.
Oh, so there's like no static. Because I feel like sometimes depending on the situation, that's maybe where we kind of defer a little bit. Like, I'm not really always with the reconciliation. I feel like there's respect where it's like, you on your side, I'll give you a head nod and keep it going, but that's just because of my ego and my pride. But I think that's definitely way more mature than I am right now. And I think, where does that stem from? Like, because I feel like sometimes people be doing you dirty, and it's hard for me, like a pill for me to swallow, be like, it's hard for me to like have a conversation, be like, nah, you some foul stuff. Like,
I think it stems from that, like, when you sit back and think about it, like, I know I really care about you. So it's like, it's not like, because you could be mad at, it's people I'm mad at right now, like, that I'm like pissed the fuck off at, like, but I know I care about you.
That's a fact. Okay.
So it's like, I know I still love you. Like, you know, those feelings don't just go away because we're not seeing eye to eye or some fucked up shit happen. So it's like, all right, I think to myself, what am I going to do with that? Am I going to be mad all the time? And like, when your name gets brought up, fuck that person. No, it's like, all right. Like, and that's the thing about it. Like, two people have to think that way for it to be a thing. So like, if you're mad and I'm mad, nothing's going to get solved. If I'm mad and you're not mad, still nothing's going to get solved. It has to come to, all right, we're both like kind of at the like, whatever point where it's like,
we can actually have a conversation.
Because it's always going to get to that point where like, what were we even fighting about? Like, there's some people I don't fuck with like right now, and I'm like, I don't even remember why we don't fuck with each other. So it's like, if I saw you, it's like, I mean, you remember? I don't really remember. Like, so, cool. All right. Let's dab up, get a drink, and move forward.
Nah, I respect that, bro. That's a lot of growth, because I feel like some of the songs where I listen to it, you know, being in my emo bag too, whereas like I'll be thinking about certain girls and it'd be like, I really can't fuck with you right now. But I didn't think that's like what you said. Like, it doesn't have to be a rush process. Life is a, you know, everlasting journey until like the end point. And it's like, I may not fuck with you currently, but you know, I feel like just listening to you, I probably have to like kind of like double back on some of the things, or I don't need to be as rigid as I was to be like, if we can both sit down at the table and just air it out honestly and be like, all right, cool, you're not that bad type thing. Like, let's like be honest and like, how do we move forward? Like, do you want to be cordial? Do you want to be cool? Or are we just gonna keep it going type stuff?
Yeah, because honestly, some of the shit people do don't be them. It be like for other people. Like, I'm not gonna judge my relationship on you based on what other people gonna think. Because it's gonna be people like, yo, bro, she did that to you. Fuck are you still talking to her for? Because I fuck with her. Like, I don't care what you think. Like, you don't want me to talk to her because you know if that was you, you wouldn't do that. But I can't keep basing shit off what I would do off of what you would do. Because you're going to be you and I'm going to be me. And that's maybe the only thing that I like understand sometimes with women. Like, you know how sometimes women are like super forgiving and it's like a nigga could do some fucked up shit 80 times and it's like, all right, like whatever. They're like, all right, you know, let's try it again. But it has to come to the point where it's like, all right, let's not try it again. But I'm not mad at you. Because that you keep carrying that anger with you and you're going to bring that into your next situation. So it's now as soon as you, and then like I've seen that for myself, and that's probably like, I think that's probably where I got to this point now, like in my last relationship. Because I seen like, she bought a lot of shit from my last relationship, and then it's like, I didn't really bring stuff from my last relationship, but it was like, I would look at her and I'm like, but such and such wouldn't do that.
So you still you kind of like, you didn't bring stuff, but you brought different stuff.
The expectation, I guess.
Yeah, the expectation was different because now you kind of comparing it a different way, where someone can be bringing like their triggers or their traumas, but you're bringing your expectation of like, why are you doing this when I dealt with something like this that didn't happen? So in a way, yours wasn't like, you know, it wasn't bad. There's nothing bad because, you know, when it comes to relationships, there's two sides and things, but it's like it was a growing moment for you where you looked at it and was like, I still have growing to do. You still have growing to do too, but that's like really mature of you to be like, all right, cool, I get it. I see why this happened the way it happened.
It's really a forgive and like, you know, they say forgive and forget. No, forgive and remember. So it's like, all right, I forgive you, and I remember how that made me feel, and I don't want to feel that again. So that's the part that everybody should be looking towards. Like, all right, this happened with me and you. I can forgive you for doing that, but I'm gonna remember how it made me feel. Because then, like, once that part becomes repetitive, that's when you need to be on some, like,
you gotta, like, no.
Yeah, like, see, I can forgive you, but now I'm not gonna let you keep doing this over and over again. Like, that's the part where I'm gonna have to, like, step away and, like, you can, like, love each other from a distance or some shit like that.
No, I respect it. But I do think that transition from Too Broke to Cry into, like, your kind of, like, smaller, concise package of When the Liquor Pours, I feel like that was a pretty solid project to follow up with Too Broke to Cry, because, you know, those first two, Biscayne Bay and Too Broke to Cry, you really got into, like, the storytelling of, like, romance and just talking to women, and just each song was, like, you know, dedicated to whoever it was dedicated to. But this one was kind of like on some flexy shit.
Yeah, just to remind niggas.
So I feel like people were looking at you like, man, he in his feelings. Like, why he care about these? What about the bag? He's like, yo, don't ever forget.
I can out-rap you. Yeah, I
can still do this. And I feel like that was a good reminder, like a little power pack that you had there. It was like, nah, don't forget. I still does this, right? So moving from, like, because technically this came out like the same year as Too Broke to Cry, right?
It came out. Well, Too Broke to Cry came out.
Because you're right. They both say 2018. I just don't have the month.
Too Broke to Cry came out February.
Yeah, it was like early in the year.
And you know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you a story, right? About Too Broke to Cry, like why it came out on February 13th, right? And it's like, this is a funny shit about, like, I would say, like, when you're like a fire sign, it's like you're like a weird kind of petty. So it's like, the girl that I was dealing with, so we didn't want to, like, the first time we ever went out with each other, like, where it was just like me and her. Well, not the first time, but the first time we planned it or whatever. We didn't want to go out on Valentine's Day, so we went out the day before Valentine's Day. So that's why I said when I drop the project, I'm gonna drop it the day before Valentine's Day. So it's just like, and then, like, every release date that I've ever, like, it's always like something behind it. It's like, all right, like a little. So, like, if you know, you know.
I feel like, I feel like you're probably one of the few people that be really studying Drake like I do, because I feel like even when I be doing things like even me, like, I be doing like some subliminal things, but it's not like on some, like, I'm trying to, like, you have to pay attention to the details to understand it, and I probably wouldn't have known that if you hadn't said that when it comes to the story. So since Too Broke to Cry is like early 2018. This is much later. I think this is probably
that's
like
my birthday. That was
so it was like I knew it was like a summertime type flow. Was this recorded around the same time, or like as soon as Too Broke to Cry was finished, you just got right back in your bag? It's like, I'm gonna pump out these 4 songs. Like, how was that?
I think it recorded a little bit after, like maybe like Mayish, March. Yeah, maybe like May, June-ish, like around there.
Okay.
Because I know I held on to them for a while. That's rare of me. I rarely hold on to shit, but I held on to them for a while because I wanted to make sure it comes out on my birthday.
So what was the significance of why you wanted that on your birthday? Like, what did you want to kind of like flex
I used to do that shit. Like, I used to, like, most of my releases used to be like on my birthday or like around my birthday, because it was like, I already know I'm gonna be getting all this love, like happy birthday, all this other stuff. So it's like, all right, everybody gonna be paying attention to me. I might as well, like, drop some music, you know?
Yeah, that is that literally is. I'm gonna have to use that for comedy shit. But
yeah, right. Yeah,
I might as well do that.
Nigga, a comedy show on your birthday? Come on.
I did a roast on my birthday. I dropped it already, so if you guys can watch it, it's on YouTube. So take your time. But I think that's pretty exceptional when it comes to, like, your intention behind like the dropping of the music. And, you know, as we continue to get ready for your next album, I'm like, was listening to Welcome to the Players Ball, and I feel like whenever I listen to your music, there's, like, you know, it's different tempos, right? There's sometimes like that, you know, slow intentional beat. There's like that mid tempo, and there's like an up tempo. Like, I fuck with this. I feel like when you with the Welcome to the Players Ball, it's very kind of joyous in a way. It's like the way you're rocking with the beat is just mad. Like, I know you're having fun. It's not to say you don't have fun rapping the other songs, but it's like, well, welcome to the play. It's like you listen to the chorus and just, it's a smooth song, bro. And I feel like, you know, just to be a single, just kind of getting us ready to your next project when that's released. Like, what's going into that process? Like, I don't need a
into the project.
Like like that. I don't need like a release date, but like what? Because this has been like almost like 2 years of life, right? And right now we're going through a pandemic. 2019, you probably been just in your bag, just kind of like living life, getting things in order, supporting your family and friends. They growing in their life too, in addition to their family and their life and their successes. How are you putting that to the music? Because before it was like real life relationship stuff, but now you kind of like getting back into like I'm kind of like low key. Like life stunting right now.
So it was like, all right, so this is like, so you see how you said like Biscayne Bay, Too Broke to Cry, and then When the Liquor's Poured, that's the trilogy. The real trilogy is supposed to be Biscayne Bay, Too Broke to Cry, and then the next project.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's supposed to be like, so this is supposed to be like the end of like
that story.
And like
or
that's
that series.
Yeah, I got the title and everything. The title is it's called To All the Girls I Loved Before.
Yo, this is funny, bro.
Yeah, so that's why. So it's supposed to be like the end of like all of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. So Welcome to the Players Bowl is just like a sometimes you're just getting like a writer's like blockish kind of thing. So like I was going through old beats and I'm just like, I heard this one. I'm just like, I'm like, what? So it just comes to you. So I'm just like, all right. So like, well, let me have some fun with this. Let me do a little something or this. Like, I hit up the graphic designer, like, yo, you could do this for me. She always kills it. Shout out to Donnie Graphics. She kills that shit all the time. So, like, I'm the type of person, like, I'm not too difficult to work with when it comes to, like, what I want, like, in terms of art direction. Like, she did that one. She did the cover for Too Broke to Cry. My son Fred Lozano, he did Biscayne Bay, and it's just like, I give you an idea, I may let you like hear a song or two, and I'm just like, you take the reins, like,
because you already had the faith in them because of their talent.
Like,
so I just want you to.
I trust, like, because I don't want it to. I don't want to be like, unless it's like, I think the only way I would be super specific is like if it's a cover like with me on it. So like if it's like I'm like the focal point of it, but then I would probably use like more of a photographer and then like have like the graphic artist kind of clean it up a little bit like that. But like if I'm gonna give you like something to do graphic art, here, this is what it's about, and then this is what like I want you to do with it. And like it's funny that now I'm thinking about it too. Like even with like Too Broke to Cry, like there's a reason like it's red and like the background is a moon. Like all of that has to do with the girl. Like literally every single like the moon, the color red, like everything.
I mean, I wouldn't have known that. I just knew it just seems like when it comes to artists, right? And it comes to like y'all, getting the songs, getting the music, getting like the lyrics and stuff like that, getting that package together, getting the album artwork, like getting the name for the track. Like there's so much thought process of like abstract to concrete, right? And just bringing it full circle to be like, yo, this was in my head and I made it real with the help of other people. Yeah. And I think with even things like that, like to me, I was just more caught up with just Too Broke to Cry. Like I'm thinking of the feeling of like, yo, bro, I don't even have the time to cry. And it's like even just being intentional with just the title of the project where it's like, yo, bro, sometimes there'd be days where it's like, I gotta eat, bro. And I gotta just focus on it.
Like you get it. And then it's like, that's all you could hope for. Is like, all right, somebody's gonna hear the title and like, damn, I get it. Yeah. And that's it.
So I think as we get older, like certain things I don't really, and I feel like, don't worry about it. I think just like thinking about not even just
Jamie.
Not even just that, but just looking at the intention behind the imagery, right? Because you're paying attention to your legacy and how you are building it. And I think that's what is kind of cool because I would have never known. Like I just thought it was just cool, a cool concept of like, yo, red having this moon in the background. I would have never thought. Well, these are things that were inspired from this young lady. Is that similar to like the other one with Biscayne Bay, or is that just a collective? To me, it was like,
nah, that was just Fred going crazy. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay, cool.
But it's like I liked it because it's like you look at like how he had the eyes of the woman, and it's like you see like different magazine clippings and stuff like that, and it made sense. It just like felt like a culmination of like
so many different
things women like.
Yeah. And also just because it was like you talking about different women, it's like it's kind of interesting that I think especially for men, we'll probably talk to several women because there's certain things about each of them that we like, and then as you trying to find that ideal girl in our mind, like this girl does this, this girl does this, this girl does this, but if I could just find one all together, like I'd be really happy. And sometimes we kind of like get distracted by all these options, and we don't really find the person we're supposed to be with type thing.
No, the crazy shit is it's always if you really sit down and think about it, and I really challenge everybody to sit down and think about this. 9 times out of 10, the person that breaks your heart is the person that like you let slide on some of the important check boxes. And the person who heart you break is because you didn't want to fully commit because of like maybe a couple of miscellaneous check boxes.
I'm not trying to be like dramatically silent. Like I'm actually sitting with this, and I think it makes sense. Like even like thinking about my life, and I think it's probably similar for you, where it's like, because you like this person so much that there's some things like, nah, this kind of time fucked up, but I fuck with you so much that I'll let it slide. And then there's like other things, and it's like then when you like kind of like flash forward, it's like, nah, I shouldn't let this slide. But it's just because sometimes we get blinded by like that, how much I fuck with you type thing, where it's like, I'll always be cool with these people. I think right now for me it's just ego and pride. But I feel like for you, when I'm like listening to this like storytelling aspect, yeah, that's some fucking crazy shit.
But see, that's why, all right, boom. See, that's why another reason you can't be as mad as you want to be at the person, because there was shit you let slide that you shouldn't have let slide. Like even like in Biscayne Bay and arguing with wifey, when I'm like, you getting drunk and going out forgetting what you did, and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna let that slide. How you let somebody you're in a relationship go outside, get drunk, and then come home and like, I don't remember what happened. How? And he's like, that's cool. I love you. It's all right. I'm gonna let that slide. But then like when shit gets worse going along down the line, you want to be mad at her like, fuck her, she's a bitch, I hate her. Nigga, how? You let she showed you like what she's like doing. There was no like repercussions for her because you just been like, fuck it, I'm mad, and then you're not gonna be mad no more. So now she's like, oh, she's gonna let that slide. What else am I gonna do?
I feel like not even just, we're not just trying to put on just one gender, but like a lot of times people.
No, the reverse too. Definitely, yeah, the
like,
reverse.
So I just want to make sure.
I ain't gonna lie, it's probably the reverse a little bit more.
It's probably because dudes be trying to get away with a lot of stuff.
But that's the cycle that you see. You see like a girl, like a guy does something fucked up to a girl, and the girl's like, all right, it's okay, and then like the niggas start ice skating. It's like, all right, well, if she let that go, she's gonna let this go, and she's gonna let that go, and it's like the more you let stuff go, you find yourself like losing yourself like a little bit more and more. Because
you're just like thinning yourself out. Okay.
And then you get to the end and like now, in a way, you don't want to be accountable for being such a dickhead. So it's like.
Then you kind of like, yo, you allowed me to be that way, but you chose to be that way. Okay.
And then that's how I feel like that's how I was a lot of the time. A lot of the time I was just like, I get to the end of like the situation and it's just like, no, but she did this and she did that. And she was like, no, you was a dickhead a lot of the time. So you probably could have like, either you could have corrected the action and moved on like the way it was supposed to move on, or you could have ended it and not went through all of that.
That's a fact. I want to talk about the relationship with like 3D's producers that like they have a lot of like, well, obviously YD Beats has a lot, but it's like,
shout out to my boy YD. So he just got married too.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. Because I remember last time when we were at that thing, that was his fiance at the time, I believe.
Yeah, at the Two Broke the Crowd. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to him.
No, she wasn't his fiance yet. They were just like dating. Like he proposed to her last year.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, 2019 proposed to her last year. Mm-hmm.
Well, they look solid to me, so I just kind of assumed.
Super solid. I was just down there in Atlanta. They got married in a big ass house. Like Atlanta, well, it wasn't even Atlanta. It was really Latonia, but the house was fucking huge.
Okay, never even heard of Latonia till just now. But.
You know what it is? A lot of people like, and I had to learn that like going to like Georgia for the first time. Like people call everywhere in Georgia Atlanta, but but it's really like it's like Loganville and like Latonia and like these other like little places, but like it's really more so like going from like Brooklyn to the Bronx to Staten Island to Queens. It's like 25, 30-minute drives, 35, 40-minute drives, like here and there. But like for the most part, Atlanta is like the hub. It's the center.
Okay. Got it. So using that, bringing it back to all the 3 producers, like Bobby Johnson, Ruby Rosa, and YD Beats, like you have pretty, from looking at the discography that you have, like those three, you have a solid relationship with them. Like we talked about YDB, so I want to save it for last. But how was it working with Bobby Johnson? How was it working with Ruby
It was
Rossi?
crazy working with Bobby Johnson because he didn't have to fuck with me. Like this is like, it's crazy because I'm working with Bobby Johnson after he already dropped the shit with Young Thug. So this is not me and Bobby Johnson like we had a relationship pre-Young Thug. This is like after like he's already Bobby Johnson. And he's just like, I got put onto him through one of my boys from Chicago. Shout out to Murph Watkins. They was already working together. Well, it was really because of Ace Boogie from Chicago too. They was working together because we did a remix to one of his songs. It was me, him, Gifts, Murph Watkins, and I don't know if you Saba.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it was all of it. This is like Saba before, like he's like Saba now. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, like we're all in that song together. And I guess Bobby Johnson was like, nah, these kids, they got some talent and shit like that. I'ma fuck with them. So he's just sending me beats. And like, that's how we started working with each other. It was like, he never charged me. Like he never charged. The only time he was gonna charge me when he was like, all right, like if you want to start selling it, then I gotta give you like da-da-da. But if you're gonna put the shit out for free, like I don't care. I'm like, damn, shout out to you, man.
Okay, because his songs are not. Those are on what project was that on?
I did was one on Circa 93.
Yeah, I think it was like the early projects.
There's the What's Up one is on MVP Race.
Yeah.
This is one song that I got with him that like, the funny shit. I still put it out anyway, but it's like I couldn't put it out at the time that I wanted to put it out because the girl on the hook, I hit her manager and he was just like, no. And it was like, probably like, when it's like, you feel like it's that song, it was that song. Like, it's out right now. It's on like my SoundCloud now. Like, I put it out like when the pandemic started because like I didn't give a fuck, but nobody's going to give a fuck about the song now. I mean, you never know because songs just blow up out of nowhere now.
Okay.
But at that time, like the run that I was having, if that song would have came out in the middle of everything that I was doing, it'd have been over. The video with, yeah, it was crazy, but always hated her manager for that.
Shout out to that manager for just stopping bags. That's unnecessary. So Bobby Johnson's cool. How about Ruby Rossi?
My son Ruby Rossi, I've been fucking with him since like I want to say 2013? 2013? Yeah, 2013. Met him through like a couple mutual people. And like he's a solid dude. Like solid dude. Like he's probably one of the most like solid niggas you're gonna meet in this industry. Like, and he works with like big names. Like I've seen him come from like hustling with everybody like going to studio session to like the powerhouse he is now. Like there's a lot of New York music like he got his hands in. Like that's the guy right there. Like he's always like elevating his sound. Like there's some beats you got from him, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I could tell that's his beat. There's another beat until you hear his tag, you're not even going, damn, like, he did that too.
So it shows the versatility of his beat creation.
Yeah, okay. And the funny thing is, I know he's not done. Like I feel like he didn't even start. To me, like to right now, he didn't even begin yet. Like he reminds me more of a like. I put him in like the weight class with like Mustard and like Metro Boomin and like Zaytoven. Like that's what he gives me. I'm like, yeah.
Wow, that's a big like cosign right there because those are like names that those three easily people hear like Mustard, they hear Metro, and they hear Zaytoven. Even Zaytoven is just a musical like. But those are some of like it's funny because like I guess I'm good at finding producers that like are like my favorite producers because like I feel like. That's why I fuck with like YD so much because YD gives me like Just Blaze vibes. That does make sense.
Like, he gives me like Just Blaze, Heat Runners, Street Runners. Sorry, yeah, give me like Street Runner vibe, like
because like how like Just Blaze be using those samples and just making it into some type of different feeling. And I feel like that's something that it's funny that you said that because it's like I had a phrase called creative use of samples with these producers, right? And I feel like how YD kind of like takes something and, gets like a modern kind of like version to it where when you listen to certain parts of the beat, you'd be like, I know what song this comes from, but it's still a different like feel or different sonic kind of like vibe. Like, is you just kind of like listen to the beats as they come in, but it's like some type of intention where it's like, I feel like that's what makes those samples great, right? Is that something that you kind of like? Because I don't feel like, you know, you are intentionally hopping on it. It's like organic. I feel like that's what's dope about it. Like, I want songs with samples. I feel like you just kind of like own it. And it's like, yo, this is a story that no matter what type of beat is on, is going to be impactful.
We go back and forth. Like, a lot of some songs he like, yo, like, oh, I did this or whatever. And some songs I'm just like, yo, bro, you got to do this one. Like, for the most part, like, all right, if we're going to use like Two Broke the Cry as like an example. The intro, he chose that. He did the intro. The outro, the what you call it? When She Called Me, he did that. Early Morning, he did that. Which one did I did? I gave him the Groove Theory one. The baby, I got to know. I needed that. I was like, yeah, I need you to do that one. Most of the Genuine ones, it was just like, it was me. Because for a long time, it's like, it's funny. Nobody was sampling Genuine. This is like, me and YD, we all like, there's people listening. Like, we know who in the industry is listening, right? Based off like certain things we do, and then we see it happen. Like, Arguing with Wifey came out 2013, right? 2013-ish. Like the end of 2013, probably like the beginning of 2014. Somewhere around there. And then, what you call it? If You're Reading This Too Late came out, what was that, 2015, right?
Yeah, 2015, 2016.
What was the intro sample for If You're Reading This Is Too Late?
Oh, is that Legend? Isn't that, wait, that's the same.
That Meet Me at 11:30.
Oh, snap. I wouldn't have thought.
By that time, but when that song came out, me and YD probably already sampled like 3 or 4 Genuine songs. Cause Come Over, that Missing You, baby, come on. That's Genuine. We did that already. And like these songs, it wasn't like it had like 2 plays. Like these songs were getting like 10, 15, 20,000, 25,000 plays on SoundCloud. So as soon as that song came out, we looking at each other like, come on, son, we know what's going on.
That's crazy. Like the timing of like, because you're right. I don't think people, really got into that that Genuine bag of trying to, outside of people like he who should be named now, but like people like that where they intentionally try to like,
and that's why we started getting more like. So now we started like kind of like pinpointing it. So it's like, all right, if you use this sample, we know you took it from us because nobody used this sample.
So it's like a record of who uses whatever sample, right? You would know?
I mean, not a record, but it's just like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, you know. It's like, you just like, like, all right, nobody has sampled this before.
Okay. And this kind of goes into like, we kind of go back into influence because we talked about Wiz. We talked about Wiz earlier when it came to the daily times, what is it, daily series? Day-to-day series. And we talk about Drake. But like, this is something that you wrote in 2016 where it's like your top 5 rappers or the top 5 rappers you wrote.
Let me see. Let me see if my top 5 is still the same from 2016.
All right. So it was Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, Big Sean, Wale. And this is 2016. And at the time, I can understand why you put those people.
That was like my time. It was like, you said Drake, J. Cole,
Kendrick, Big Sean, Wale. And it's 2016. So I can understand at that time why you put that.
I feel like even right now, that's still like from that class, those are like the top 5 right now. Even for me, it's like,
okay,
these are like the if we're gonna go like top 5 with the full package, like of like, and when I say full package in terms of like they pretty much get into like any bag, because like that was like I guess I was judging that scale from like 2010 to like even it's like still now, like those are like the veterans now. That Big Sean, even people discount like Wale a lot. Wale is a heavy hitter veteran for me. Like that's like
people just love to hate Wale. I think that's what it is.
But that's like that's one person where it's like I see like he does certain interviews and stuff like that, and like people big him up, but like I want to see him really get like that recognition. Like Big Sean is starting to get it now more,
especially after dropping
like
Detroit too.
Yeah, like so it's like he's getting it more now. He's starting to see like but I need Wale to really have that like that one moment where it's just like remember when More About Nothing came out?
Of course.
I need him to have that, but like on a mainstream scale, because More About Nothing was a classic for like everybody like that follow like internet rap and like blog.
Yeah, that was a very strong mixtape. I think that's one of my favorite projects from him. The album About Nothing, and I did really like his. I think his album that came out last year. The one is like I Root for Everyone Black.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's
It was that was one where we were talking about like mental illness, and I feel like that one was strong. I just feel like as someone that is a person that kept up with Wale, I think he's kind of like it's similar for what he's going through. Kind of like similar to like Kevin Hart, where it's like, I mean, you're talented, but people just don't like you, and like their disdain for you is blocking them from the blessing of embracing your talent, and I think that's just unfortunate.
But Kevin Hart still has the undeniable classics, like
like his first three
like,
or four.
Well, even for the one like after he went through whatever he went through with his wife, like the one that came right after that was a really good one. Like that was a strong comeback. Yeah.
So I mean, it happens that way, but I think when it comes to you, like not only I feel like listening to commentary from rappers, right? Because I'm a consumer. Like, you know, I tell jokes, I host events and stuff like that, but I'm not like a rapper. Like me making a joke and you writing a song for like 3-4 minutes is not the same, you know? And this is like two different.
It has its similarities though.
Yeah, but I always go back and forth with my like poet and my musician friends where it's like, they're both hard, but they're hard in different ways, right? I can't sit and listen to the beat and I'm gonna figure out something to write to, right? Like to make sure that it matches the tempo, or like make sure that you're putting your imprint on it, that this is a CG song. Like if I'm telling a joke, it's literally a cappella, right? Like I'm creating the vibe and I have to tell that story.
But I feel like telling like, all right, so if we're gonna take like comedy specials and shit like that into account, consistently making people laugh for like an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes is way harder than writing a 4-minute song.
Okay. I can respectfully disagree with you.
Way harder.
I feel like we switch places. I feel like we're going to look at the other one as hard, because for me, I can't make a good 4-minute song. Like, not that I can't, it would be very hard for me.
You probably could. Yeah. I mean, it's because you know what it is? It's like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely like a level of talent and like being like a rapper and stuff like that, but I think it's a difference between, it depends what you want to do. Like, do you want to make a good song, or do you want to make like a transcendent song, or you want to make like a profound, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it depends on what you want to do. Anybody can make a good song. That's how I personally feel. Okay. Because it's that fucking Whip Nene shit has 1.7 billion views on YouTube. So clearly it's like, somebody may think it's trash, but clearly it's a good song. Like people care about it. Like the kids care about it. So it's a good song to somebody.
Okay, I understand that. That's totally factual with that. But just listening to all the influences, going through the music journey, I feel like in like the last, how long have I known you? Like 3-4 years? Like, I think what's the coolest thing of seeing you kind of like develop over like the last 3 to 4 years is like, I think it was a book that I read actually, and I think because of you talking about it again, I read it again, The Ways of a Superior Man, and just like, you know what it is to be a man.
Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, and just how it is to, like the intro, and I was saying like how you give back to the community, how you support your friends and family and stuff like that, and even you like, getting in the Sheffington bag, right, and just like, taking care of your body and just eating right, and just really showing there's different ways to be.
Yeah, I fucked that up once the pandemic started.
It's different, but I was seeing you doing it. I was like, it's definitely inspirational when you're doing a lot of these things. Like, where did this come from? Like, I mean, for you, I'm not gonna say like this is easy, because being a man, it's like it's all about accountability. It's all about being vulnerable and wanting to grow. But like, where does these things come from? Like, you're just, I mean, we look at the line like the king of the jungle, when really it's the king of the Sahara, but whatever. Like, how did you get like these king-like qualities?
Just trying to be better. That's really it. That's really all it is. Like it's life. Life could be long even when it's short. So it's like, while you're here, try to figure it out. And it's like, just keep trying to be better. because put it like this, like we have family, right? So we have the people that came before us. And a lot of times you see in families it's just like they're just like hung up on like whatever happened before them. And like I tell people a lot of time, yeah, all that bad shit or like whatever happened before you, even if it was good shit, like whatever happened before you, that happened before you. That doesn't have to keep being what's gonna happen. So it doesn't have to keep being like, all right, dad did bad shit, grandpa did that shit, all right. What are you gonna do? Look at your grandpa and your dad doing bad shit, like, all right, they did bad shit, so I might as well do bad shit too. Nigga, no. You didn't like that. Clearly people in your family didn't really like that either. They just didn't know, or maybe they didn't have like the means to like, or knowledge to just be like, all right, like let's move forward. There's so much shit now to help you try to move forward. Like all these fucking books and like all this self-help shit that they like give to people. I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I get sick of like the self-help shit. Like
after a while, it's kind of like it really is like the same thing. After a while, like I feel like when you've read like a couple of books, you have the tools. It's just making sure you consistently implement it. But
maybe I just hate the phrase self-help. Like I don't know. It's something about like all right. If you think about it, like the Way of the Superior Man is a self-help book, but they don't advertise it as a self-help book. It's
it's kind of like wisdom in a way.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, like I could fuck with that, but like a self-help book with like a nigga face on it, like Steve Harvey, no disrespect. I don't got no beef with Steve Harvey, but it's like the How to Think Like a Man shit. It's like, all right, nigga, like relax.
They just,
But it's so much shit like to help you like be a better person. Even with the therapy, like I was saying like the other day, like I personally never seen a therapist, but like I'm not super opposed to it. Hope I'm like one day maybe, you know, maybe I'd be like a birthday gift to myself or some shit like that. I'll go get a little therapy. But they need to stop pumping therapy when shit is going bad for you. That's all you see on the fucking timeline. It's just like when especially you talk about love and relationships, it's like, oh, you don't need me, you need a therapist and all this other shit, like all this shit bad shit going. Like, damn, like that's why a lot of people probably be like a little turned off the therapy because like that's why people don't like doctors. Like,
it's
what
like
shit
a
is
negative,
wrong
it's
with
like it's like a negative stigma.
People don't like a lot of shit when it's bad for you. Like people don't like go to the doctor, go to therapy, all this other shit. They be like, I'm kind of, like people get scared a little bit too. Like you're a little nervous like what you're gonna find out when you go there. So like I'm saying you should start pumping it a little bit more. Like say for example, like yo, your job is good right now, got a little money in your bank, all your friendships are good, cool. Why don't you go to therapy then? Why you should go to therapy when everything's going good for you?
That's actually a funny thing because I think one of my, I think someone else that I interviewed for a different episode, he was saying that he went to therapy when he was like, things were going good. And it's like, and he realized, you know, actually things are not going good. Like things are like under the surface, but not even like in a way where it's like, yeah, you know, on the surface things look good. But the thing is, as someone that goes to therapy, you know, it helps. It helps when it comes to men. Like we don't like complaining, right? So if I have someone that I can just talk to for like 45 minutes, they're like, yo, this is what's going on in my life. This is what I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to build better relationship with certain family members or certain people in my life. And like, how do I strategize with that? Like individually, yeah, you can do it. You can hold yourself accountable, but like this is our time that I'm going to talk about what happened the previous week. How do I grow? And I feel like that's the reason why people kind of like feel about therapy because I think therapy is not the only answer. It's part of a larger solution because to your life to get better, it has to be part of a systematic change to who you are. So that means not only are you going to talk about your mental, you should be like doing what you're doing with the food. What do you put into your body? What type of spices are you putting? Like, what type of love are you putting in there?
I've been putting shit in my body.
No, but this is a pandemic.
Taco Bell today.
Yo, bro, I'm about to do that after this. Like, this is a pandemic, so like, there's no rules, so we gotta cope because it's a different time. Like, when you exercise, I don't need people to lift weights, but just go run, go play ball. Technically, we can't even play ball because pandemic, but like, go for a run with a mask on
by yourself.
Like, and I feel like that's what you have to do. Like, how you feed your body physically, how you feed your body mentally, and how you feed your body emotionally. Once you kind of work on those things, you can control to a degree how your body feels. So I don't want, because sometimes people will throw in your face, men or women or whatever, it's like you should go to therapy and kind of yell it to you like something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with any of us that go to therapy. It's an assistive tool to help you manage with what is life. And I feel like I agree with what you're saying. Like, I'm never going to look at people, but that's because it's 2020. Like, I went to therapists when I was in college, like 2010. And I felt mad awkward, right? And I even told my friends, like, people like, what's wrong with you? And I feel like
you're in prison or something.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you're shameful. And there's nothing wrong with people in prison too, because people get kind of like you kind of get put in situations where people kind of set you up and things like that. And the legal system in itself isn't fair to people that look like us.
Crazy.
But I think with that, it's like we have to keep changing like how we look at some of these things, because that's why people are not getting the help that they need. And I feel like when we're looking at, brother to brother, just how do we, give back and support? I feel like you just always been a supportive dude. That's just in your DNA when it comes to, people's new blessings in their life. And when it comes to people just getting like their new jobs and getting things together, like you're definitely like a rock in your friend group, in your community. I think that's really dope, bro. That inspires even me to like look at myself and like, how can I be better? Or look at myself and like,
you can't be no hating ass nigga, man. Yeah, that's really all it's like when it boils down to it, like, and then, like, that's the thing sometimes when like you're talking about like certain things, like you want to be like PC about it, like but like sometimes you gotta give it real, like that's really what it comes down. You can't be no hating ass nigga, like because somebody got some shit that you don't got, you want to be upset at it. And like I even find like myself sometimes looking like on the timeline or looking at certain shit, I'm just like, now, when you make like a little smirk or you do a little like a snarl, like, damn, I'm being a hating ass nigga right now. Like, I hate when I feel like a hating ass nigga. I feel like when I feel like some hate, I gotta go like show some love, because I'm just like, I can't be feeling like this right now.
But I think what's cool about you even being honest about it, that's human though, right? Yeah. And the difference is how you allow that to flow through you. Whereas like some people be like a hating ass nigga where they try to rob you or they try to get you out of the game. And like instead of like using that as like, damn, I'm hating on you for where you are. Yeah. When I can just either put that to myself, like, yo, I gotta work harder, or like, damn, instead of me looking at you because of things that you have that I don't have, I should be looking at people around me that they work and they got things that I don't have, but I love them. Yeah. And I feel like your journey is like so like motivational, bro. And I really just this is why I love like this interview platform that I got. I want you guys to like know that the reason why, not only you're here just because of where I think you're gonna go, right? But also like I want y'all to hear y'all flowers and have it recorded so we can like, make sure other people your own like legacy audio wise and like visually they can see it forever. Because yo, bro, you do good work. And I think, with that being said, I'm looking forward to the new project. I don't know because it should be out early to 2021.
I mean, I had a release date, but then like, pandemic. So I'm going to say right now.
You don't have to say right now, because remember, I don't know when this drops. No,
I'm gonna say it's gonna come out when it's supposed to. It's gonna come out when it's supposed to, but it's in the works. I'm already like well, the Welcome to the Players Ball is not even going to be on it. I'm going to be honest.
No, I figured from what you said it was going to be, like how it's following up Biscayne Bay and Too Broke to Cry. Yeah. Like, I know the vibe that it's going to be, and Welcome to the Players Ball is kind of like, this is for fun. I want you guys to listen to something while y'all wait.
But YD sent me the first song today, actually. Like, the first song that's really going to be, like, on the project. Like, because I recorded a couple songs before that I was going to throw in there. And I mean, who knows? Maybe like when they get like really super mixed down and I hear them again and I throw a couple more things in there, I might keep them around. But today he sent me like, the shit that like I know, like I'm listening to it. And it's like, I expect a little features on this one too, because I don't really do a lot of features like that. But
yeah, you don't. And I feel like that's a very interesting thing when it comes to like your music. Like you definitely like hold the tracks by yourself. So like when you do have a feature, it has to be kind of like, I don't want to say otherworldly, but like it has to be important, because you definitely don't need features to like, how some people I ain't gonna just say names, but certain artists to me are really feature heavy. Like I know some artists that most of their album is features, and it's not bad if you have that in the budget. Go ahead.
I do want to make one like project like that though, like where it's just like not super feature heavy, but it's just like I'm doing more features than I normally would. Yeah. Like, and this, I ain't gonna lie, this might be that project, because I got a couple like artists that like I know I really want to work. Like I want to get back in the booth with G Milano, because he went crazy on Scrubs.
On that song, like just with his vocals on that track and like how he was kind of like that, like subtext. So like that
he freestyled that too. He freestyled that. Yeah,
he's a very. I know his album is supposed to be out. I think he like that
4 seasons.
So I'm gonna pick that up.
Go download and stream that 4 seasons.
I'm gonna pick that up. But And this is not to discount anybody that does have features. I'm just saying, like, I get to listen to you before, like, once now we add the flavor of everybody else.
That's why I do it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how, when it comes to your fan base and you have people coming out, like, even before the pandemic, you had people come out to that Jamaica location. You had people, I feel like half of the audience was yours. I feel like you're gonna do some really good things, bro. I can't wait to see how it turns out, bro. So
yeah, this next project is gonna be crazy. Like the energy is like slowly coming together, like the way it needs to be, and this is like even like for like the rollout, the album packaging, like yo, it's so crazy. Like it like the name itself, like just to all the girls I loved before, like. This is really about to all the girls I loved before, and it's like you're gonna feel it, you're gonna see it, like. And when I tell you every little thing that I do for this means something. Every little thing, every picture you're gonna see, every promo you see means something, like, and it's super significant.
Well, I can't wait. But before we get out of here, I do want to talk because you mentioned his name before, and I feel like anybody that, you know, was a fan of this man, I feel like you got to be able to have space to talk about him. So definitely talk about Kobe Bean Bryant, you know, because you definitely said that earlier. It was like a younger inspiration to you. And, you know, we lost him much, much earlier this year. We lost him like 11 months ago. So, you know, talk about his impact to you, because I feel like that competitive spirit of, because technically Kobe is a Leo/Virgo. He's like, he's born August 23rd. So let's talk about Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe was yeah, that was crazy. Like that was like my first like real like favorite basketball player. Like it was like him and like AI was kind of competing for my attention. But it was like, yeah, like that's the first basketball shoe I ever had. That was
Pumas? So when he was or Adidas?
Nah, when he was at Adidas, yeah. That was the first the Silver Johns.
Oh yeah, it only looked like some superhero shit.
Yeah, those were the first ones I ever had. I was heavy on Laker Nation, right? It was just like everything Lakers in my house. Like I was there, like I saw when Robert Horry hit the big shot. Like I'm literally in the living room with my uncle watching this shit. Like I was around for all the 3Ps. I had the DVD, the 3P. I had the DVDs, and like I was just like heavy on Kobe. It was like he was like a big like inspiration in my life, and I was just like, it didn't even feel real. Like when he passed away, like I'm getting the news, like, and I'm hearing the way it happened. I'm like, man, what you talking about? And I'm like, I'm getting home. I'm looking on CNN. And I'm like, yo, this shit is real. Like, then they hear they took his daughter too. I'm just like. Shit was crazy. I had to go get that shit tatted, man. I got that mama mentality tatted on my wrist for me. So that's gonna be there. That's gonna be there forever.
Yeah, I have a tattoo where I'm gonna be well, I gotta get a design, but it's supposed to be Kobe, Nipsey, and Chadwick Boseman. So
yeah, rest in peace to Nipsey. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman too. Now that Chadwick Boseman one was like kind of crazy though. I was like, damn.
I mean, both of those, like all three of those were crazy. Like to me, like just like, you know, Nipsey was first, and then it was Kobe, and then it was Chadwick. And it's like each time it's just like, I just can't believe it's real type thing. Like it's kind of like surreal. Like they got Nipsey this way, this is trash. They got Kobe this way.
They got Pop,
and then they got Pop, and they got Chadwick, and his was from like, you know, like stage 4 cancer. And I just think when it comes to, you know, when we have great black leaders in the community and they kind of like leave, you know, before their time, you know, we have to feel like the weight of their loss, but also we have to be able to like, that means that the rest of us have to kind of grow so we can be, you know, stronger for the community. And I feel like, yo, CG got to start off as Brooklyn Renaissance, that, you know, was rapping with his boys when he was growing up, making songs that you were working with big producers that you've been on songs with, like, you know, top tier rappers. You know, you are now Creative Gold. You know, you are a person that's going to make his own legacy, his own name.
Yeah, man.
You gonna do it, bro.
It's on the way. It's on the way, and it's we gonna do it our way. We're going to do it all way.
So with that being said, yo, share your socials, even though you still have to get your Twitter back. I don't know what the Twitter guy's about to do.
Man, I don't even know how I'm going to get the Twitter back, but I'm still working on it. I think I'm going to have to run down the Twitter office, but you can follow me on IG, at creative_gold. I'm everywhere on streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, whatever, pretty much whatever streaming platform they got. On the Twitter, I mean, I guess you can still follow the one that's hack creative_gold. But then I have like a backup is one creative gold. And like, yeah, like, you know, I'm here, we could chat, you do all of that. And then like, I got new music coming real soon, man, real soon for y'all. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good day. So guys, this is Skip from BK. It's another episode of Dreams Money Can Buy. Make sure you follow us on Covalpa, where it's like more other podcast articles coming. And this is edited by Slept On Creative. So shout out to Jomo and Kat. They work on the video, they work on the clips, they work on the audio, all that type of stuff. So we're gonna see y'all real soon. So peace out and be safe as always. Later. And another post-credit scene. Let's go. So we just finished the conversation with Creative Gold, rapper extraordinaire. Just a great human being, great man in particular. So if you just want to know what he's up to on Twitter, I believe this is his most recent account. You know, hopefully you can get the old one back. But it's 1 Creative Gold. No underscores, everything together. So it's the number 1 Creative Gold. That's on Twitter. And on Instagram, it's creative_gold. That's creative_gold. You know, also, you know, check him out on Apple Music and any, I think it's, Audio Mac and Spotify for any of his projects and singles. So just staying in tune with his music. Keep up with me, your host, Skip from BK on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea for you if you're listening in on this interview. Also, just a big shout out to the production company that helps with the audio and the video and making sure everything looks good. Slept On Creatives. So you can keep in the know for them on Instagram, Slept On Creatives, and Twitter, which is SO_creative. So Instagram is again Slept On Creative together, and Twitter is SO_creatives. They also have YouTube to check out some of their stuff right there, but that's all on the Instagram and Twitter. So keep in the know. And last but certainly not least, you gotta keep in the know with Covalpa. So we'll be talking about a lot more topics. We're gonna have more articles, more writers coming through. We're gonna have more podcasts. So, you know, just stay in the know, hit the subscribe, follow button, share the content with other people, and just stay tuned for more Dreams Money Can Buy. You dig? Peace.